get a nice groove.
I tell you what, I'll never get sick of this intro.
I just want to take my clothes off.
Actually, I'm already sick of this intro.
You typically do.
Well, I do, actually.
God.
Give it time.
I'm kinda
He
hot.
will get nude.
Are you the one that found this?
Yes.
Very nice.
It's got a Domesky, I want to say this right. Domesky, Martin, and Wood is a three-piece jazz band.
Right.
Oh, nice.
And they're Medeski, Martin, and Wood. Sounds just like a Bubble House is one of their top songs.
All right.
I'm going to write that down.
Little factoid, little Cliff Clavinism.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So, welcome. We are...
Dudeslikeus.us.
Yeah, dudes like us, and we are in the midst of the current, what is it called, Arctic Storm Yuri, and we'll be discussing that tonight, but we do have a special guest tonight.
We do.
Is Yuri a female or was it a male?
Yuri, it's a Russian
I think
name.
it's a Russian dude.
Right.
Well, because Yuri was the streaker, too. That was his name in the Super Bowl.
There we go. I think it is a guy's name. All right, but Mr. Guest, why don't you introduce yourself? No last names?
Ron. First
There you
name is
go.
Ron, so no last name. Let's go back.
My
Mr.
name-
Ron Burgundy.
My name's Yuri.
I would have started with my symbol, but
Ron Yuri.
it probably wouldn't have worked in the podcast.
All right, well, thanks for
His
joining
gang
us tonight,
sign.
man.
Well, I
Yeah.
appreciate y'all letting me come and crash your party.
Yeah. So this is definitely the Yuri edition of our podcast.
I think
this
so.
has dominated every second of the last 5-6 days. What day are we on now?
Absolutely miserable.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's. Well, for me, it hasn't really changed too much because I work out of the house and I don't leave, so I don't have to commute anywhere. I mean, I leave the house, but
Well,
I don't have to
because you haven't had anything negatively impact the
correct.
house.
Yeah, I didn't lose the
Thankfully.
power and all that stuff. Not yet, anyway. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen. But
Is
so
it
far,
interesting notion that your house had power because you feel that maybe it's on the same power grid or the same section that's zoned off for the hospital.
that
You
was a thought.
That's a good theory. I've heard a number of people say, "Yeah, we never go out because it's either a hospital or there was some DFW refrigeration center."
This is
Or-
bullshit.
Yeah, they're
I want Jeff's white privilege card.
oh,
Well, Sean and I
Why-
are
why
over
did
in the week. You know, we had nothing
Yeah.
on our side because
Yeah,
we were
yeah,
out for
so-
like 28
so-
hours, and we had nothing of importance in our part.
Yeah, they didn't care about us.
yeah. So describe
Yeah.
it. Describe it. So I mean, because I thought it was off and on, off and on, off and on. Maybe not. There's different scenarios that I have talked to different people. Right.
Well,
So-
our power went off. Our power went off at 3:40 in the morning, and Tara comes down and wakes me up, and I was like, finally, I went to sleep, and I was like, God bless it. Now I'm back up
right.
because I had a crazy night with some other stuff, and it was off for almost. You know what? It
Well, it
felt
was
like
more-
2 days,
It
but
was more than
only-
24 hours because
it came on. I was leaving for work Tuesday morning, and it was literally about 7:45 that I was out getting the vehicle warmed up, and Kathy starts screaming. I'm wondering what's going on. She's screaming with happiness that the power's come back on. So it's between 28 and 29 hours, give or take.
Unreal.
We were in New Orleans. We went to New Orleans on Saturday through Monday to enjoy Mardi Gras, which was an absolute bust.
Oh,
And
really?
So that's a whole nother topic.
We could
about
talk about that,
and
later.
the mayor of New Orleans, but anyway, we in the whole debacle trying to get back, but we caught a flight back on Southwest and got in at we arrived at Love Field at 3 p.m. and finally by the time my brother got to me to get us home, it was 8 p.m. Power's off. We literally slept by the fireplace. We had firewood, started fire, and slept by the fireplace with our dogs. Funny story. The band Three Dog Night. I
Yep.
never knew how they got their name, but do y'all know what that references?
No, I
No.
don't.
You rate, as I understand it, and I haven't verified this, so I'm going to blame it on my wife. She's the one who told me this. You rate how cold a night is by how many dogs you sleep with. And I don't mean that lay with you, just to keep warm. To keep warm.
You are
And-
talking about
Sean's mind goes there.
And,
Yeah, yeah.
and so a
You can see
three,
it going.
like the highest level of
how many
coldness
bitches you sleep in one
is
night,
a
right?
3 dogs. So 3 dog night.
I have heard that before.
We literally have 3 dogs, so we had a 3 dog night
There we
Monday
go.
night by the fireplace.
That's interesting. I've never heard that fact.
I've never heard that either.
It'd be worth verifying.
No, I think it holds water.
So a really cold night. and we've had many of them.
Oh my God.
It's starting to warm now, though, which
Oh, well,
20 degrees is
let's-
warmer than
Let's back up a little
one.
bit. So, did you spend the night at your house that night?
Yeah, like I said, we got in Monday at finally got home around 8 p.m. and we slept there at the house that night with no power. Power came on about 12 hours later, 8 a.m. Let's say.
You guys. Oh, so that was a 3-dog night you're talking about,
Right. So we literally built a fire in the fireplace in the living room and laid down a couple quilts
Yeah.
and then a couple blankets on top of us right in front of the fireplace.
It's
And
kinda fun.
I would
So-
sleep for about an hour. And I'm not sure I'd wake up because it was getting a little colder, but subconsciously I knew I needed to put more wood on the fire.
Right. Otherwise, you'd freeze to death.
So here's the thing, and I was extremely disappointed because we have a fireplace and we lit our fireplace up, and that God bless them thing was burning for 12 hours at least because we started it in the morning because it's cold as shit.
Right.
That thing does not put off fucking heat.
Well, it's
Does not
there's
put off
different
fucking
kinds.
heat.
Well, you got to
There's-
we were laid right in front of it to get
Well,
some heat.
Yeah, but I think that
You don't burn
the-
wood, though, do you?
That's my point. I think that if I put some real logs in there, it would because that stuff just wasn't
Well,
working.
we were burning real wood.
Oh, so you're doing
Yeah.
just like ceramic logs?
Yeah, whatever comes in that fireplace.
no,
And
I-
I was extremely disappointed, and I'll tell you,
We took that stuff out.
We
yeah,
did
so did
too.
we.
moving forward, I think I may do the same thing because it was absolutely worthless. First of all, we never use it. I think that was the second or third time we have ever turned that fireplace on,
Right.
ever. So, and this was the one where I was kind of like, well, I really need you to work, you little motherfucker.
Right. Yeah.
We
And
took
it
all
did
that
not.
ceramic stuff out and sold it. Actually, I think it got like $25 for
Yeah,
turning
it's
my fireplace
ridiculous.
back
I mean,
into a real wood burning fireplace.
Why would they design it to have like a blower that blows the hot air out or something? I was thinking this is pointless.
Well, it doesn't work if the
doesn't do it.
power's out.
Well,
But I'm
well,
just saying
the-
in general when you do have power.
well, the stuff
right?
that gets so hot are all the embers and the burnt logs that would get so hot, and it gets. Well, if you just have like a gas fire, there's really not much heating
Right.
in there, right? Except when you get close to it, you can feel the heat of the fire. But I know we do the wood downstairs, and it'll get toasty downstairs
Oh yeah.
after.
So
have a
my
fire.
understanding though is when fireplaces that are built like just they're not designed to burn wood. I know that sounds stupid, but like standard fireplaces that they put in, like I would imagine Frisco homes, they are not rated for wood. They're rated for ceramic logs. And so there was a fire.
That's
that-
true.
Yeah, and so homes, there are. I don't know how they catch fire. I guess they
Yeah, I'd like
get
to.
just too hot or something.
That would be. I think ours are. I think they are
Mine
because
is-
I've
We've
seen
been burning
you
wood
burn
every
'em.
year for 20 years.
Yeah, mine is not,
So-
and I have had plenty of really hot fires.
The
in there.
producer put up on there it's 21,000 BTUs, and I don't know what that means though.
Yeah, I don't know.
No. Well,
Anyway,
I'll tell you this.
Because I know that's caused some house fires. from what I-
well,
what I
it's
understand.
got a
Well,
lot
what-
to do with
the creosote in your chimney.
yeah.
You got to clean your chimney. If
that
you never clean your chimney, it builds
soot
up.
builds
No, I-
up and-
I understand.
That's what catches fire.
So BTU, do we even know what that stands for?
British temperature. unit.
Butane.
British thermal unit. I didn't. Someone had told me that once before, but
British thermal
Yeah.
units.
exactly how that translates and things. I'm not sure, but
We got to switch that to ATUs.
That's kind of like
American-
yards and
American
inches.
thermal
American
unit.
thermal units.
USATU.
Nice.
the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 pound of water by 1 degree Fahrenheit.
How about Texas thermal units? TTUs.
TTU. Texas Tech
From now
University.
on, that's what
Let's
we're
ask-
doing. TTU
Was it
units.
ERCOT? Let's ask them. They're all knowing right now.
Yeah.
You know, I did notice that. Just thinking about it, I had taken a picture of my fireplace for some stupid reason, and I sent it. I sent it to one of the people I work with, saying that we had a fire burning in the house. And I did notice that on the left-hand side there is a sticker. It's a metal sticker that's stamped on there. It has the model number and specs to it. I would like to try to figure out what the difference is between a ceramic log burning fireplace and a wood burning one, because I would like to burn regular logs.
Yeah.
I think it'd be more pleasant too. the
Well, it
sound.
is. It's more homey. It's more effective as well.
Yeah,
I
I love
think.
doing it. And I
Yeah.
found out after the fact, oh, you're not supposed to be burning wood in there. I was like, I've been doing it for years and
No one
years.
has ever said anything
Yeah,
to.
well, it was a miserable cold night.
Yeah, I bet.
Miserable.
I told you to go to Jeff's house.
Well, they were, but they left. Look at 9 o'clock. We're going home to the fridge.
Well, the thing is, I was just
Thinking it'd be short lasting.
I was giving our
You're
power
hopeful.
grid and the
Right.
the Texas
ERCOT.
folks, those those cocksuckers. I'll call them cocksuckers because total mismanagement. This had nothing to do with equipment failure. It had everything to do with people management and the lack of being able to get shit from point A to point B because they couldn't schedule in time for this poor management.
So okay, so have you guys heard the details about why the grid is struggling? Do you know the details? 'Cause I
Greg
read,
Abbott said
I,
it was, or Governor
I've
Abbott
heard,
said
I've
it
heard
wasn't.
several rumors.
Yeah, so I read up on some of it, and you never know if it's all 100% truth. All right, so right off the top, right, you can get rid of wind and solar, right? So that was 15%.
Yeah, it's gone.
Gone. 15% gone. Okay, that's what makes up the grid. And then, so apparently nuclear and coal are built to withstand, this is going to sound stupid, built to withstand super, super cold temperatures. Natural gas plants are not.
Correct.
So 40% of our capacity went down primarily because of the two things I just stated.
Really?
The
Yes.
natural gas power
what I
plants
read.
not being winterized. So in other
Yeah.
words, there were
That equipment froze.
yes, there are some components, right?
Right.
Some components within the critical infrastructure that weren't working, and so they had to shut the power plants down. So we were down 40% of our capacity. Now, when you match 40% down in capacity with historic demand, right? Every
Right.
single house in the state is
Blasting their heat.
running their furnace, right? Is running the fan to power the furnace, and yeah, it was a bad deal.
Now I'm going to spread a rumor.
All right.
In one of the groups of friends that we have, there's probably 8 couples, and one of them posted this was a few days ago. And what they had heard was that that this ERCOT had plenty of energy to supply Texas during this code, but it sold its overages of power to places up north. In order to not break those contracts and keep the money, they decided to continue to send them power, thus having less power to supply in Texas.
Man,
Now, I have no idea. If
I
that's
haven't
true.
heard-
really hope
but
that's not true.
I haven't heard that one
Did
yet.
that come from AOC?
This, yeah.
It was Bette Midler.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure this is what's happened here in Texas has traumatized her, even
I'm
beyond
sure it
even
has.
beyond the Capitol storming that she's been hurt.
You know what?
She's
I
really upset.
I think because my sister's texted me going, she goes, Texas is all over the news, and she's up in Ohio, and I'm thinking, I bet the news outlets
love it.
love that Texas is struggling,
Absolutely.
and they're going to keep it out there because, all the red states make fun of California because they have to go through the brownouts and everything. And
Yeah.
they're like, look,
You know what? Here's
Totally
the
agree.
flip side
I
of
think
this,
that's
though.
what's going on.
There are a lot of the northern states are kind of like, oh, Texas, a bunch of pussies down there. They can't handle it. But you know what? Those are the motherfuckers that are dying when it's 85 degrees outside and they can't handle the heat.
Well, nobody can argue with the fact that we have been colder than freaking Alaska in this crazy ass
Well,
Arctic.
for this
I mean, these
particular
are
experience,
crazy
but,
historic lows.
Yeah,
but I mean, this is kind of a normal thing for like Chicago.
it
Yeah,
is. I know
right.
when I grew up in Ohio, we'd get this cold regularly.
Right.
1 degree, 0, 10. That's
I like
that's a
it.
standard thing. But
I like
but
it.
the infrastructure is we don't have it.
You got to dress
It's
for
not built.
success. So,
It's not designed to withstand, that temperature, right?
Yeah,
and the
anyway,
houses
so-
aren't built for it either.
no.
You know, the codes in which they run the pipes, they all have to be
I don't
run
remember.
differently.
We never had a pipe burst growing up.
Right. Right.
Ever.
So they're all wrapped. I mean, they're all
Yeah, they're probably insulated.
winterized.
Yeah, I would think.
Right.
Code's
Mm.
different. They expect you to get down to 0 degrees in the winter.
I've never built a house outside of Texas, so I don't know it's interesting. I probably should look into that, but I don't care anymore because I don't do contracting.
Right.
Right. Anyway,
But-
this whole Yuri thing has created a lot of strange stuff going on, right? So at work, it's disrupted work because people don't have power, right? The internet keeps going up and down,
Yeah.
Right.
and then other times they're just freezing their butts off, so they have to go to a neighbor's house. And I mean,
But
so
we did that.
people were in and out. Meetings a ton of meetings getting getting
Food,
delayed.
food deliveries for
Yeah.
grocery stores. The shelves are empty right
Yeah,
now.
Dude,
I went to
Crazy,
I went to the grocery store down the street, and their power was out.
right?
And I went in there, and I was like in it's like the zombie apocalypse. People were just kind of strolling up and down the aisles, and you can't see because it was dark in there.
Right.
So they all had their little cell phone flashlights out looking, and
That's crazy.
it was a mad rush. So all the staples were gone: toilet paper, water, milk.
The fucking beer section was raped.
Yes.
I mean,
Was it really?
I picked up. Listen, how pathetic this is. I picked up a 6-pack of Shiner Light Spätzle, which is like a Mexican lager. I like.
Did you like it?
I haven't. I put it. That's why that was one of the reasons I put it in the fridge. I didn't. I was embarrassed. I was just
Shut up.
I did. I was like,
It wasn't brotherly camaraderie. He was ashamed.
Exactly.
But I went back there, and all the freezer, all the meat sections,
Cleaned out.
packed full of meat, but everything was thawing.
oh,
So
So you didn't feel like it was safe, or?
I wouldn't have bought it. It was still cold.
oh. Speaking of meat,
I mean, when you buy something from the store, you leave it in the refrigerator for 2 or 3 days before you cook it. Sometimes.
no, yeah, but if you're gonna freeze it, usually do it right away. Speaking of that, I need to. Speaking of meat, I got a fantastic deal. What meat did I pick up for $3, which was normally like $50?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It rang up at $3, and I didn't look at it right away. And then as I was about to leave, Jeff walks over there and the fucking $12 for what you bought, and his was like $60-$70. And I'm like, wow. So I picked up is it like filet mignon?
It was a full tenderloin.
And it was just
It was like
misscanned.
It was misscanned. It was a $6. It was a 6-pound tenderloin. It was about
It's huge.
2.5 feet
and
long.
you didn't stop to say, "Oh yeah, ma'am, I don't think that's right."
Well, he didn't even notice it.
Yeah,
Until
well,
I saw it later. I was like, "You're an asshole."
I don't care. You know what? And we should care, but I don't. I didn't care. But we were lucky. We went and picked up the meat, but the rest of the place is getting kind of scarce.
Interesting here. A Fox News alert. Bette Midler makes bizarre claim about Texas power outages.
Yes.
And God. I hadn't read it yet. Just the
I
news.
heard.
But-
Well,
you've already heard about that.
You
I-
can guess. We're being punished.
I read
Yeah.
that, and it's God punishing Ted
because-
Cruz and John Cornyn.
Is it
Yeah.
because we didn't take COVID serious?
No, it's
Yeah, I've
because
heard
she's
that
she's a freaking idiot, is what it is. She's a whack job.
Yeah, because we're evil. That's why.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but back to your point about people cheering the fact that Texas is struggling. I guess they view us as an arrogant,
They do.
overly independent. Of course, oil and gas that bothers
Correct.
people.
Well, and they're also saying, well, yeah, you can't even handle yourselves during the storm crises. How are you guys going to succeed from the United States if that were ever an option?
I say we try anyway.
Yeah, build a wall up all around Texas.
Right. So at least Ted Cruz is stepping up, saying, "Hey, I have no defense.
I
I'm
like
locked in."
Ted Cruz, man.
But-
I hope he runs for Supreme Court as a
You don't
Supreme
run
Court
for-
justice.
you don't
Well, I mean, I
run
hope
for
he gets nominated for it.
by Biden.
I hope he runs for president. I'd be on board with it. I wanted him to prevail in the primaries.
Well,
So
thank-
you would want him to run for president? Who would you want to run?
I like him. There's another guy out there that,
Beto.
beta cuck.
He's such a putz.
He is.
What's he
but I
doing?
cannot believe he almost fucking beat Cruz. I mean,
know it.
that is
I
ridiculous.
thing
think
that
that was
scared
just,
me
I think
was
that was
the
just
quote.
laziness.
Well, the quote that Cruz had that scared me was he warned Texas that Beto's, am I saying it right? Beto?
It
It's Robert.
depends.
Call him
Yeah, his
Robert.
name is
That
Robert.
Robert supporters
Irish cocksucker.
would crawl through broken glass or crawl over broken glass to make sure they vote for him. And I was like, oh shit. Basically he was warning, do not be complacent because we'll lose this.
Yeah.
Beto, well, it's Beto, but if you're from El
Beto.
Paso and you live there, they usually call that Beto.
Beto.
Beto
It's-
O'Rourke,
It's beta.
but
Whatever. He's a douchebag. Let's just move
That
on.
race was too close.
it
I
was
know, that's
way
what we're
too
talking about.
close.
So that I apologize. I was looking here on pulling up some of the stuff you're talking about. People who you like to be president.
Yeah.
But that really is probably the first sign for me that the blue wave
coming.
is. I would have never thought.
Well,
Yeah, but
it's
it's
either a
reality.
blue wave or it was the. I'm going to be a conspiracy theorist, but I think our voting machines are compromised. There is
I agree.
no way. I can't fathom that he got that many votes. I just can't. I
Well, but-
cannot.
I mean, if you look at the trends, I mean, Texas is turning. It's already purple, and it's turning blue, and it's because of the
Man.
cities. We've
Well,
talked
think-
about this before.
Well, think about it.
All the big cities are
Back-
all staunchly blue now.
Back in the, was it 80s or 90s, Texas was blue with the Democrats. Ann Richards was governor.
That's right.
So it wasn't always red. It was
Right.
blue at one point, and it turned red.
So how much the influx of the western states, primarily California, do you think it's making that big of a difference?
I think so.
And do you think the Hispanic influx
Yes.
is making a big difference too?
Yes.
Hugely. I mean,
I mean, you know
especially if
what,
they're
and
getting
that's-
all these free coupons for, hey, we get to come on in.
Well, I mean that's the
Some accommodations here.
Of course, that's exactly why they
couple
try.
college tuition packages.
Yeah, we've talked about this a million times. Anytime that that's what the parties try to do, which is government handouts. We're gonna, and then you'll vote for us forever, right? I mean,
So I want to bring up my two nominations for president, and people think I'm crazy. Bill O'Reilly is number one.
There's
I
no
like
way.
Bill.
I don't
I
think
think he's a realist. He's
has he ever talked about running?
no, and
Oh, okay.
he never will. He's I don't even know why, but I enjoy his perspective. I enjoy listening to him, and he doesn't put up with people's shit.
No, he doesn't.
He's not. He's like Donald Trump. It's like the XYZ, suck it. And outside of that, it's Trey Gowdy. I'd like to see Trey Gowdy run for president.
Yeah. That's another one.
That was the name I was trying to pull up. And he's got a buddy from South Carolina. I think he's in the House, Tim Scott.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
That's a
That's another one.
black gentleman that I've been very impressed with.
Very.
That found out about Tim Scott through listening to Trey Gowdy. I mean, I loved watching just Gowdy when he was on some of those committees and just ripping people apart.
The hearings.
Yeah,
And he's very articulate. He's a speaker for sure.
He claims he's out. He says, "I'm out of this politics." But
Well, I mean,
just
he jumped
wonder,
on the Fox newscast as a personality now. I don't know if it's a permanent role, but I saw a few shots of him with.
Yeah,
It's
I
Trey
thought he
Gowdy,
was. I
Fox
thought he was a
News.
great voice when he was in the.
Well, I
in
think
Congress.
the
And he can grow a beard. You seen that?
No,
Oh,
No.
dude, he has so many different looks. It is
I've
crazy.
never
he looks
seen
like
him
the
with
guy
facial
from.
hair.
Well, that one's.
whoa.
I mean, that one's all right, but he's got another one that's like
it's just like a big old bush.
he's a weird.
Wow.
he's just no nonsense.
Well, I think his hair's kind of strange. If you ask me.
It's like Harry Potter from the Slytherin, the leader.
Yeah, it does. He kind of looks like Malfoy.
I just think he's a
That's
fan.
Malfoy.
I just think he's a fabulous dresser.
Well, I like the way I like the way he would just talk, kind of not slow, but he had the South Carolina or North Carolina, wherever he was from. See, there's Malfoy.
Oh God.
Kind of that South Carolina drawl a little bit, and he'd be slow, and he would just matter of factly just put these people in their place.
Yeah, no, he's a tough. He's a tough guy. All right, so the other one that people are talking about is the governor of Florida, DeSantis.
Oh, telling Joe Biden to go fuck himself.
Did he say that?
Yeah, he was like, he didn't even call him Biden. Didn't call him president. He was like, Joe, you can go fuck yourself.
He literally was on tape saying that.
I haven't heard it. It was a quote,
Wow.
and I'm assuming that's
He's my
a quote
hero.
is a
If
quote.
that's true, that he's my hero.
Because basically Biden said that he's going to do a travel ban into Florida.
yeah. You know what? Fuck Biden.
Oh yeah, no kidding, dude. You see how he's backing out of every campaign promise, one after another.
is very
I'm going to do this.
frustrating.
I'm going to do that. He's just backing out of every single one of them.
I don't.
And now he's backing out of the.
Let's just pray he doesn't die.
He's backing out of the. Gosh, what is it? There it is. No, you just saw it.
Ribbit.
Governor DeSantis tells Biden. All right.
There's
No,
a
but
little
he's
bit-
backing out of the. help
go
me here.
fuck
College.
yourself.
The
The
college deal.
fund. Well,
Yep.
he says he's got a better plan.
That's at
Oh, God,
realrawnews.com.
Never mind.
So I don't want to get bogged down in the politics and of all that. And it's kind of natural when you're talking about the
Well,
power grid and
the
government
thing is-
and this and that.
Yeah.
even with the current politics going on, they're still hung up on Trump. They can't.
They can't let it go.
They just
They can't.
can't, man. And good, because Trump has changed the template of how the United States operates.
And then Biden's
Well,
undoing
Biden's
it.
putting
all.
it
No,
back.
he's undoing a lot, but Trump has taken a huge dent in it. I mean, especially with China, it's going to take a while for that to recover.
I hope so.
And I don't know what he's doing I don't know what Biden's doing to reverse that. We should probably read some of those executive orders he's putting out.
The 40 or whatever he's up to now.
He's literally trying to dismantle everything that Trump accomplished, even when it makes sense. Like, it's working, it makes sense, Why touch it?
No.
It's almost like it's personal vendetta.
It is.
All right, let's
100%.
Yeah, let's move on.
Let's change gears. I want to go back to Yuri, and I want to go back to some disappointments that I have. First of all, the experience of Yuri being up here and just some of the drama associated with it, with the pipes bursting, and all the bullshit going on, like cars crashing, and that's horrible. But I tell you, I'm disappointed. This was the first time that we've had a snow in Texas. I think in 16 years. It was snowing like that. And I remember I went to go get a birthday kick up at Thumb Up the street. And I remember driving my truck, and it was very precarious driving up. It was very icy. Went all the way and all the way back. My point is that this year, this was the first time I didn't get out there and just frolic in the snow and make a snowman and do some fun shit. Whatever, fuck it.
Well, part of that is because the kids are grown.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because I'd be out there with them building the snowmen, building the forts, having snowball fights, and just a dusting of snow. They'd be out there playing in it, scraping
Ron,
it, trying to put enough together.
Yeah, I've got two of mine from a first marriage, and Kathy's got 4 from her first marriage. So between us, we got 6, 3 boys and 3 girls. Literally a Brady bunch. Youngest is 19. In the house this year because he was going to go up to OU, but with the COVID and all that stuff, he stayed here and went to Collin. But he'll be leaving out this summer, so we'll be empty nesters here pretty soon. But we got 3. Our 3 girls are all in Colorado.
And
the 3 boys are here in Texas. So the youngest is in Austin with his girlfriend. He's trapped down there. He went down there for the long, for the Valentine's weekend and can't get back.
And can't come back. Yeah.
So I'm sure he's really, really upset about that.
Yeah,
I bet.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
How old
Keeping each other
how old's the one
warm.
in Austin?
He's 19.
Yeah, I'm sure he's torn up.
19. Yeah.
I mean, we got out there. One day. I mean, my youngest is my 15-year-old still obviously with me, and he wanted to go out there in the church parking lot, because we got Hope Fellowship behind us. And
how'd that work out?
Do some donuts.
it was fun. I mean, we didn't want to stay out there very long because it was freaking cold as hell. But we had a little bit of fun there.
And when it's this cold, the snow doesn't pack, so you can't build anything.
No, we couldn't.
It's a powder.
We
right?
just sled on it.
Yeah, I was
Well,
gonna say.
Our sons, I found out this later in a College Station. Your son was driving the vehicle.
Nice.
Yeah, I found out, and pulling the 3 other roommates on a sled. And my son is the one that fell off and got hurt.
Oh, what happened to him?
Oh,
Head trauma and knee trauma. And it wasn't bad. I wouldn't have to go to the hospital or anything, but it was enough to where he was being a little pussy talking to his mom. And he wouldn't take my call because he was giving him shit.
I would have.
Of course.
I've been like, that's.
But
you're
I've got one of his.
dumbass.
I probably shouldn't say this, but I've got one of his friends on Snapchat. They accepted me, and they don't think about it. They just post, but they don't check it. So every now and then I see they're in a club or something. I'm like, screenshot.
great. Yeah, that's
Doesn't
great.
it show up saying Sean Murphy screenshotted your picture?
Does. They just probably think I'm perving on them. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, there was a vehicle in the parking lot of the church today pulling 3 people.
Oh yeah,
well,
I did it.
I would.
I saw it at
It's fun.
Lebanon Trail High School parking lot. There were some kids out there.
Oh, yeah.
I went over to
Getting-
Ron's house to help him with some stuff over the plumbing issues over at his house, and there was a big debate on who's going to drive to Home Depot, and I was like, "Fuck that, I'm driving." So I had to do some other thing. I had to drop off the milk and things, but man, I find it very pleasurable to be driving in the snow.
It was kind of fun.
I love
I enjoyed
testing
it.
the limits.
I've had no problem.
Yeah.
You control yourself. You just can't control the other idiots out there.
Yeah,
you think
that's
they know
true.
how to drive
That's
in
true.
it, and they don't still think about it.
That's true.
So is that when you saw the apartment fire?
Yeah, so I was heading to Home Depot, and this was the first time.
That's Ohio and
Yeah.
Gaylord.
Exactly.
I went by there. I saw I didn't see any. Didn't realize what it was. I assumed it may have been a fire, but I didn't know.
It was definitely a fire because it was about an hour previous that I went there before. I guess you drove by there, maybe even longer than that. There was tons of smoke. It was thick smoke everywhere. My windows were down because I was wearing some Army winter jacket, so it was extremely warm. So I was enjoying the wind blowing in.
Sure.
It was brisk and whatever. I was
Did you
fagging out,
see
man.
flames?
I did not see flames, but there were. I'm not exaggerating. There's probably 6 fire trucks there. There was a couple ambulances. Somebody got hurt. and there was
It's probably a
shitload of-
Christmas, like a dried Christmas tree that somebody.
In February,
They were there this morning at 8 a.m. when I went
In their
past there
courtyard?
to work.
Oh, at 8
They
a.m.
put it
at
in
8
the back.
a.m.
Interesting.
and they were still there when I headed back around
Wow.
4:30.
Wow.
so I wonder if someone had a space heater or something like that, did something stupid. to
But I
try to
never
stay
saw
warm.
You know,
Yeah.
and
Any
that
smoke or anything.
that's the sad thing about these freak snowstorms and cold spells that people do stuff.
Yeah, they live
that-
life on
They don't know.
precariously. You know?
They
Well, I
turn their
mean,
gas stoves on.
Well, they just they're I don't know. It's ignorance, right? And there's some people that like try to heat their house with their car, and they all die from carbon monoxide poisoning. I mean,
Yeah.
this stuff happens every single time.
Well, funny with this, or again, the past few days with our group of people that we hang out with, and them not having power, they're talking about bringing in the propane heaters in their house. I mean, and
Right.
just the debates upon don't do it, do it. You know,
Unbelievable.
I'm just so glad we had a fireplace just for that one night.
Yeah.
Yeah, generators. People bring generators inside.
No,
it
that's
happens
bad.
all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
carbon
Wow.
carbon monoxide.
I-
gives
I'm
them-
doing
Yeah.
some. I'm making some changes to my house because of this. If this happens again, I am getting a generator, and I'm going to tap it into the power
Nice.
just to control a few things.
You
like,
could get a whole house generator. They sell
yeah, you
those.
just got to pay for it.
Well, yeah, you do, but
Go off the grid, on the grid. Is that
Yeah.
what you said?
like,
Yeah.
I wonder what
You
your
go-
I wonder
go
what
on
your
the
electricity
natural
bill is
gas.
going to be.
I don't know. I did have a couple days where I was generating because I was worried that the snow was covering up
So
all the
Ron,
solar
a little,
panels.
little
Right.
backdating. Paul is one of the one of our first friends that has solar panels
He's
put
an
onto his
AOC
house.
voter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm doing the whole lease thing where you don't
Yeah.
pay anything up front. You lease it
Yeah.
for
Right. We had someone that came and we talked and looked at that, and
AOC came down to visit
we-
him.
Yeah, she stayed for a
we
while.
we considered it. We didn't pull the trigger, but we considered that. It sounded.
Yeah.
I mean, the numbers kind of made sense to me. Wow.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
good-
okay,
good-
I mean,
They do.
yeah, we've talked about
They
it. I
do.
mean, so they look at your previous year's worth of energy usage, right?
Mhm.
And then they guarantee that it's in totality is going to be, less than what you cover for the entire year. Now it's spread out even payments, right? It's not like, how it is. Summer's super high and winter's super low, but when you net it all out,
The only thing I would want to change is I wouldn't want to just lease. I wouldn't want to just lease them. Whoops.
How unprofessional.
and never own them.
I would want to own them and just have a management team kind of manage them. But I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to.
It just baffled me when they gave me the diagram of the roof.
Yeah.
It's like a just Tetris design.
know.
And they have all the things, I guess, determining how the sun rays are hitting the roof and certain angles. But it was pretty wild.
Yeah. So I mean, so I was worried that I wasn't producing, right? Because right now my pool's running 24/7. It's been that way for 7 days, right? And so I just know my electricity bill is going to be horrible. But
Right.
but yeah, so they were enough of them were uncovered that it was generating, at least generating the the day before yesterday. So
Well, that's good. That's good at least.
yeah, so that was good. Anyway, so other interesting things that this Yuri thing has caused is I read something this morning about 400 or 4,000 sea turtles that are cold stunned.
Just kind of laying there on the beach.
I don't know, but some sea rescue group went down there and rescued. I can't remember if it was 400 or 4,000, but 400 sounds more likely.
So first it's the straws, and now it's the code. These turtles.
There we go.
Thousands of
Thousands
stunned
of
sea
cold
turtles.
stunned sea turtles being rescued in Texas. Look at that! Look at that! How cool is that, though?
Stunned? What the hell does that mean? Stunned.
It's like, somebody put
It's
them in a freezer.
It's like the goldfish in your courtyard with the rhino.
So they move
okay,
slower
okay.
than normal.
They're in
The turtle
hibernation
moves a
is
little
what it
slower.
is.
Giraffe with the herd of
Water buffalo.
camels.
The Articulus. What is that? Cartuchus?
Architeuthis.
Every single one, Architeuthis comes up.
Exactly. You know what? And if people don't follow all the episodes of this podcast, they're not going to understand the little funny things we
So
say.
go
so
back to
they
that
have
cold
to do
stunning.
Yes.
that. We're not doing Architeuthis again.
Cold stunning, a physical response to cold water temperatures. Okay, so
A
is
turtle's body temperature falls. Its body systems start to shut
Well,
down.
they're,
Oh,
that's
so
what,
this
that's
is a
what
form
happens
of,
to me when I'm wandering around out
Okay.
there.
well, they're reptiles, right? So they're cold-blooded, right?
Yes.
This is what happened when you came home drunk from the revel and you couldn't find your way home. Got lost.
Yes, I was cold stunned. I was also shit faced.
That
Yeah.
was
So
called-
Ron, let me share a
I
little
don't think that's the
snippet.
same thing.
So we came home from the revel one night and Paul got in a little spat with his wife, and Paul's like, I'm just going to walk home.
Okay, that's not how that went down. I said,
Well, you
honey,
know what? I'm
I s-
paraphrasing.
You
here.
showed her, right?
I said, honey, I just need the exercise.
No, so he heads.
He got his steps in that day.
Yeah, he should have fucking
Did I ever?
So he left from here, ended up at like 7-Eleven off of
Main Street and Hillcrest.
and we were making fun of him because he had his pants were all dirty, and then we
He was
were
like face down in mud,
Okay, well, it wasn't that bad, but I did fall down in that field.
and he was
you
flailing
took
around.
pictures of your pants because they had either you
It
were
was
given
so bad. It was so bad. That was a rough night. Anyway, but the joke is, I met the indigenous tribes of Frisco.
Yeah,
While I was out there,
yeah.
The
these
pygmies,
these pygmies had tied these little ropes all over me and stuff, and they were tiny.
kind of like
Yeah.
Gulliver's Travel,
Yeah.
Paul's travels.
Paul's Travels.
Anyway, I don't know why that story came up. That had nothing to do with Yuri
Well,
or
everything-
being cold stunned.
No, it was cold
It was
stuff.
because of cold stun. Because you
No.
said you got stunned up there by
Paralyzed.
the
I told you,
indigenous
I wasn't cold at all.
Frisconians.
I was
Decreased heart rate.
I was hot and shit faced.
That was in May. So yeah, you probably
Yeah, it
were.
was awful. All right, moving on. All right.
No, you said it was riveting. You said you felt revitalized. You went and were like, man, it was such a fantastic walk. Got home.
Oh, it was a spiritual moment. I met the shaman. God,
you spit in your mouth and an
God.
aphrodisiac.
nice. Okay, don't insult them. All right. So moving on. All right, what do we have? What was the next segue we had?
Well, we did we talk about dead people yet?
Oh,
Not good,
No,
very
we-
good segue.
we
but
have not. We have not done that.
Well,
yet.
that was
Did
a
Bette Miller-
hard.
That was a
right.
hard segue.
That
Yeah.
was.
All right, so yes, we've started to cover significant, celebrities,
I'll tell you what,
personalities.
let's talk about something. We're tapering from the Yuri thing. Is that when this storm first started, this is going to go down in Texas history as one of the biggest car pileups off
Oh, that was
I-35.
That was-
awful. I forgot that's the way this week started.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was last Friday, almost a week
That
ago.
is how the whole thing started.
Yeah.
133 cars piled up in Fort Worth.
Was it still just 5 people that died? Which I
That-
find
that's
sounds
the
like
last
7
I
at this
heard.
point or something.
is 7 people.
Did some pass
But
away
there
from
are
injuries?
dozens and dozens that
6
were
deaths.
6. Yeah, it was just
It was
very horrible.
It was extremely violent.
Just it's so surreal watching the videos, the live videos.
I watched one of them and I couldn't stomach any more of them. I couldn't
Yeah.
stomach it.
You know what crossed my mind, and it was ironic. My wife said the same thing when we got together and talked about it. Was you watch some of the cars that slide in and come to a stop because they hit the other cars, and I'm sure they're sitting in their car thinking, "Thank God, all I have now is a damaged car."
Right.
And were they realizing what's coming behind them, or if they did, what was going through their
Yeah.
mind?
The only thing I could think
I
of,
just can't imagine.
I thought about that same thing. The only thing I could think of is put your head back on the headrest. I mean, there's nothing else you can do.
Yeah, there's
There's
And-
really nothing
and
you can
I'm
do.
sure
The worst
a-
thing you can do is get out of the car.
Well, but that crossed
I
my
don't know,
mind. A
man.
lot of them couldn't get out, but those that could, I'm thinking, if you could have got out and just ran and jumped over that divider between
Yes.
the bounds of traffic, could you? But who's thinking?
who's
like that?
thinking that?
Well, you're
don't
probably
know.
stunned.
And
You're
you
just
have
like,
no
"Holy
idea
crap,"
that a semi truck is coming behind you at 55 miles per hour.
or
and-
faster.
It just plows through.
God, it was
you.
awful. It was like I
Just
said, it made me
like
sick.
you're nothing.
It made me sick.
Yeah, that
It
pickup
almost
truck.
made me think about if you did know it was coming, if you're able to look in your rear mirror, turn around, and you're seeing these cars barreling down on you, you can't stop. It made me think about my dad served in World War II, and the boats. I may not have the name of the right boat that let's say that were landing on Omaha Beach in Normandy. Those guys sat in there knowing that when that ramp opened,
Yep.
Yeah.
that probably half of us will be dead in the next minute, or
Yeah.
Yep.
and just I can't fathom what what I would do in being in that situation, whether it's in a car and in war or whatever.
After
It's
seeing that movie
awful.
with Tom Hanks,
Yeah.
was that the movie that was on?
Yeah,
Saving Private Ryan.
Saving
Yeah,
Private Ryan.
that was so. I guess awe is the only description.
That was
I
an
couldn't-
incredible scene in a movie.
Yeah, and bullets were
Incredible.
actually going through the ramp too. They weren't. I mean, bullets were going through it and killing the guys.
Were they really?
Yeah, some of the higher caliber bullets were going through.
God, it was just
I guess I'm
awful.
surprised at only 6. Honestly,
Me
to
too.
some extent 6 sounds low now that you see this.
I'm sure there's some very heavily damaged people though.
Yeah,
that are going to be impacted for quite a long time.
yeah, and you know, who do you throw stones at this? We're in a major metroplex, you know, with Dallas Fort Worth, and they should be able to anticipate these things. I mean, sand trucks.
They had them out there.
They claimed they had
They had already
sand
done
or
it.
salted that section of highway.
Well,
And apparently it
I
didn't
don't-
matter.
I don't think they salt down here. They just throw
Nope.
sand down.
Sand, yeah.
well, whatever it is, it wasn't effective. So it just, I hate to say like throw stones because that's not really the angle to beat somebody up. But the idea is to beat the circumstance up so that we can learn from these mistakes.
Just it's
I don't know.
awful.
I don't even know
Awful.
how it originally started. I don't think that's really known at this point. Obviously, it was either a semi that jackknifed or a car, and it just, I don't know. I couldn't imagine it.
Probably some fucking non-driving Indian with his Tesla.
Oh God, here we go.
Yeah,
Watching a movie.
was that out loud?
Yeah,
Oh,
it
Yeah.
was. All right. Anyway, so yeah, that's the way this week started,
That's
and it
it.
was rough.
There's that Ford
Yeah.
quad cab truck that literally goes flipping in one of the videos I'd seen.
So that was bad, and then now we're dealing with this just the cold that came right after it, right?
Yeah.
So there was like he said 6 people that died, but who else passed? We had like
Oh,
there was I was surprised on.
yeah. There's two that I think we should talk about. One died today.
Well, this is the biggest one. Big.
This is
big
Larry
one.
Flynt.
No, this
No.
is Rush Limbaugh.
This was Rush Limbaugh.
Oh. I was
Huge.
more into Hustler than.
Yeah.
Huge
So
loss.
yeah, Rush. He was. I know. I grew up listening to him because my dad introduced me to him in 1988, and I was brand new to college at the time, and I remember my dad started listening to him, and that's right when Rush started. And
Was Rush the one that was had an OxyContin issue
yes,
and then
Yeah, I think-
overcame it?
yes,
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
yes.
You know, he's had some challenges like that implant right there.
Mhm.
You know, he was literally deaf,
no, he is deaf.
and they had those implants put in so he can hear. I think that's just it's miraculous.
That was
It
back
is.
in 2000. But you see that he's sitting there smoking the cigar. He was a huge cigar guy,
Yeah.
and he died of lung cancer.
There you go.
So yeah,
That's
he
too
was.
bad.
I know. Listening to him, he would talk about the cigars that he'd be smoking and stuff like that. And you know, he believed in it, and yeah, I think it probably ultimately got him in the end.
It
You know,
sounds like it.
And it's disgusting to see some of the riffraff comments coming from certain
bad.
folks. I don't want to label them as Dems because I'm sure it's not all Democrats, but you know, it's at a and this is the point that really drives a knife right into the middle. It's this controversy that we have between the left and the right is that we start labeling things. Well, the Democrats are just talking shit about Rush, and it's not all of them, but at the same time, none of them. The Democrats do not like Rush, and they do not like all those radio stations on the AM that they don't have any control over.
Right.
I don't
It's
even know
just-
how that works.
It's just ugly though.
Because
It's ugly and evil, and and it really you can see a person's character when you see what they say about somebody who has passed. I don't care if you liked them or not. Just stay quiet if you didn't like them. But saying "rest in piss"
Yeah,
that's
that was
what's trending on
ridiculous.
Twitter. Rest in piss.
So, do Democrats have control over a lot of the media? But I mean, as far as like the TV, the broadcast, I mean, even Fox, you know, they have some. What are the new ones that come? Newsmax is kind of supposed to be kind of a right wing. But what about the radio stations? Why is it that they could not get rid of Rush Limbaugh off the AM station? There was something that prevented them from being able to get him off because they tried over and over. And like, I'm sorry, man, you can't take away the airwaves. Is that what it was?
I don't know. I don't know the. Yeah, I think you're right. I think there was a push to try to figure out how to get him off the
Oh, they
airwaves,
wanted to
but-
silence him. They did not like him because he nails it. A lot of the AM radio stations that's why they're on the radios because they can't touch it. And I don't know if I'm telling a lie or not right now. Yeah, because I'm wondering why is it that they can't shut those down. But I'm
Yeah, I don't
sure
know.
they're floored that Rush has now passed on and he won't be able to spread the gospel of the truth. You know.
Well, I mean, I think he probably has a lot of disciples, right? I mean, there's probably a lot of really, really talented, bright, conservative, talk show hosts out there, and hopefully somebody's gonna kind of slide right into that spot and take over. But he was brilliant, though. He was really influential to a lot of conservative thought. So anyway, that's a big hit. The other one was Larry Flynt. I don't think that was as big a hit.
Yeah. I don't even think how. What the hell is Larry doing nowadays? Is he an investor? I mean, because Hustler, who the hell's buying Hustler anymore when you got these like RedTube and Pornhub and all these other
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he
websites.
Yeah, so he mainly produces pornographic magazines such as Hustler, pornographic videos, and 3 pornographic televisions, something or others. I don't know. He probably just kind of
What a creepy dude.
I don't know what he did in the later stages of life. I'm not sure what his
Now, didn't Woody Harrelson play him on some movie?
I think there's the movie about his life.
I never saw that one.
I don't remember what it was
What's the
called.
name of that one? You guys know?
Yeah, Larry Flynt movie with Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Mr. Jeff has stepped away for a second. He's feeding his dog some.
It's called The People versus Larry Flynt.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
there you go.
I remember that title.
Was it about the magazine?
I think it was a censorship case, and also in the movie it hits on the assassination attempt that put him in the paralyzed him.
Oh,
I don't remember the details of it, but he was shot. That's why he ended up in a wheelchair. Someone shot him.
Literally an assassination attempt.
I believe so.
Oh wow. I did not know that. So he was kind of involved in dangerous mafia guys and
he
like
was shot at
I
a
don't know
Georgia
about
courthouse
I think it was more of like some
and never walked again.
Christian based or some religious based people that think they know better that try to put him down.
so they were punishing him for his pornographic
Yeah.
past or
You know,
something.
it's just,
or-
you're evil, and in the name of God, we're going to kill you.
Do you know that for a fact, or you just kind
I'm
of
kind of
speculating?
I'm speculating.
All right,
I
well,
mean, who else would?
We would have to do a little research on who it was that was who tried to kill Larry Flynt. I'd be curious what his motivation was.
I'm sure it's on a Family
Here we
Guy
go.
episode.
Who
somewhere.
shot Larry Flynt?
It was Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, again.
Really? So he didn't die back in
No,
when Ruby.
This happened
What's his
in-
name? Ruby. Who's the one that shot?
Jack Ruby.
Jack Ruby,
Joseph
yeah.
Paul Franklin.
This was a big deal. This happened in Cincinnati.
It was Hustler magazine
Believe it or
versus Falwell.
Did you know that?
Falwell
No.
shot him. What was the?
Well-
So Flint was. All
There was an 88 case with Falwell.
right, scroll down a little bit. Let's read
They
that.
got
So
shot
who
in
was?
78.
So Franklin was an American self-confessed white supremacist and serial killer. He engaged in a murder spree that spanned the late 70s, early 80s. Franklin was convicted of several murders and received 6 life sentences. He was found guilty of murder of Gerald Gordon. Franklin was eventually charged in Missouri. Didn't really say why he killed.
Well, he didn't kill Larry Flynt.
I mean, why he tried
Shot
to
him,
shoot
yeah.
to kill.
Why
Why
he-
he
why
tried
he-
to.
Why he wanted to.
Yeah, like I said, I remember.
Well, he's
I was
a
young,
nutcase.
so in 78 or 80, I was 10, 12, 11.
Check that out. Is that his wife? The fuck out of here.
And this
Look at
was
that.
all over the news where I grew up because, like I said, he was
So I
dealing,
wonder, could he get it up?
he was dealing with a lawsuit from Cincinnati,
Is that a
Right.
gold wheelchair?
and he was extremely rich.
Yes, he
look at that.
was.
And
So look out, Richard. He still has a hot wife, and so I wonder if he I don't know if he can get it up, but if he didn't, he's probably got the pump down there.
I don't know.
I really don't want to speculate. I'm good.
I'm intrigued.
Well, that's an interesting story. I did not know the background behind Larry Flynt being shot.
All in all, he's
Yeah.
a piece of shit. I don't really know what else did he make his money off of?
Hustler.
That was about it.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, various porn.
it was porn.
Because it was raunchy. It was raunchy.
It wasn't the Playboy. I remember you'd find the Hustler, and it was like
It was a little bit edgy.
hardcore.
Oh, it's on.
It says
They showed
The
everything.
Hustler magazine took off in 72 after they printed
Wow.
nude pictures of Jackie Onassis.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's
Nice.
Well,
probably
that's
why he got shot.
Now, that's according to Wikipedia, so we know it's true.
Ah.
they're definitely true.
I remember again. I remember getting back when again it was probably the late '70s that Larry Flynt, maybe it was Hustler, sent something in the mail, and I think it was an anti-war thing, pamphlet or magazine or something. But in the magazine, they were showing it was pictures of basically soldiers completely blown up and destroyed,
Oh,
like
come on.
nasty everything.
As a as a try to get people against the war type of thing.
Correct, and
Was it Vietnam? I mean, what do you?
It was late '70s, so it was probably I don't know. Well, Vietnam was done by then,
That would have been the closest war.
right?
Vietnam.
So it was because I remember flipping through it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Again, I was probably 10 or 11
Yeah.
doing this. And I remember my mom saw me looking through it, and she grabbed it because she knew what it was. She had read the newspaper and knew it was coming or something like that. And she's like, "You know," she yelled at me pretty
Yeah.
hard. She goes, "You don't need to be looking at anything from this."
Good for
guy."
her.
And took it. But I got through a couple pages, and I was just stunned at what the pictures were because it was extremely graphic.
Wow.
I mean, everything.
You can't unsee that.
No, you
can
can't. No, you can't. And it just came in the mail.
That sucks.
He mass mailed it out, and
Well, apparently that's not why he got shot, though.
no, I don't know. Again, I saw the movie, and who's the chick that was married to Kurt Cobain?
Courtney Love. She was in the movie.
Yeah, that was his wife or his girlfriend or something like that. She was in that, and it was good. It was interesting. It wasn't something I'd probably watch again, but it was good just because again I kind of saw it growing up in the news and everything, growing up there in
There's just a
Cincinnati
lot of
area.
First Amendment battles that he had with the government on
I bet.
freedom of speech and
I respect that part of it. You know what I mean? I may not be on board with, what exactly he was selling and what he was doing, but, I mean, I am 100% on board with free speech and First Amendment. So,
Yeah,
ironically, he played in the movie. He played the judge that sentenced him.
really?
Yeah, he played the judge, is what it says here.
Oh, that's funny.
That he was in the movie as the judge who sentenced him in the case.
Oh, wow. Anyway, so that was a significant passing this week because I think a lot of people are familiar with those two names. Those are probably the two biggest names from the week.
Yeah, going back to that, I know Cincinnati was kind of on the forefront of the against pornography thing. And again, there was
That's taking a quantum leap.
The first club he had was called Hustler Go-Go in Cincinnati, ran by his brother Jimmy.
Yeah. And there was another instance where there was one of the museums had a visiting artist called his last name was Mapplethorpe, and it showed. So Google Mapplethorpe.
Where the fuck do you get this information?
I was going to say, were you
I'm
like?
looking for your notepad. You got no notes. You're just pulling this shit out of your ass.
Well, hold on. I think this is years and years of being a Cincinnati tour guide, right?
It is.
No,
So go to some
On
of the,
your left,
go
you're
to the
going to
images.
see the courthouse where Larry Flynt went. On your right, you're going to see.
Well,
That's
that's
where he got his first blowjob.
Well, that's him. But you want to see some of the
Who,
images.
Jeff did, or Larry Flynt?
I don't know.
But what it is
Larry Flynt.
Oh, okay.
he was a photographer, and I think he was. I don't know, but there was a lot of nudity.
Very creepy.
Yeah. Why are we looking at this?
Yeah.
And
kinda weird.
it was like these aren't it, but there's some, and some of them are. Sean, you're probably gonna enjoy this. There's a picture of some dude with his finger up his pee hole,
What? Why would I enjoy that?
Yeah, you would.
just because.
Yeah, I'm with Jeff on this one.
But and it's
But you don't
it's-
need to bring that picture up, Mr. Producer. You're fine. Don't look for that.
Yeah.
That's-
So
Sean can look for it later.
yeah. See the white guy and the black guy. There's several of them engaging in things, and it was
like the ensleeving.
it was an yes. That's an exact. I don't know if he had that picture,
I
but that
wonder
would
where
be
Jeff thought you might like this.
that would
I wonder.
that would be a typical picture that he would do, but it would be done artistically, so it could be considered art, right? Whatever.
Oh yeah.
So it was a lot of
With a fancy name
did I-
like finger in pee hole.
What's
I
that?
think-
Scroll up a little bit.
Yeah, we'll scroll back.
which one?
Yeah, I think we just went a little bit more. Boom on the right.
Oh,
Oh, good.
God.
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
See,
Well, I've got
pictures
that
like
one.
that.
I have a frame of that one.
So that's what it was, and it was huge news for the longest time because it was a obscenity versus First Amendment type thing,
Right.
right?
I
So
guess I
it
just
made
don't
the
know
news.
art. Have never seen any of that.
Yeah, a lot of bondage crap and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Well,
So
you know what? This podcast, even though it may or may not blow up to be anything in the future, this is something that is a right. I mean, because you imagine 30 years ago, you weren't. I mean, hell, they have. It was a horrible thing for an actor to say "damn it" on TV or a movie. You know, damn it. You know, maybe it's 40 years, but
I was gonna say 30 was back in the 90s.
fuck it, maybe longer than that. My point is that slowly but surely
Yeah,
the
we-
gloves are coming off, and it's just only a matter of time where
Soc-
porn is going to be.
It's just gonna be full nude.
Society has completely eroded decency. It just
That's too bad
has.
too.
I agree.
Well,
it is too bad.
Well, we talked about that a couple of shows ago, where we're like, what are the wholesome TV shows of today?
Yeah,
Because back when we were growing up, you had Happy Days. You had, this is before my time, but Andy Griffith Show. But, they don't have those anymore.
No, that's not true. I'm thinking of one, and I can't remember the name of it. It's based on the
Claymation?
80s. It's based on the 80s, and the mom is like totally overbearing.
Oh,
and
the
she got
Goldbergs.
Goldbergs. That is a wholesome show, I would say. There's nothing
Goldbergs?
Yeah,
weird.
there's nothing
There's inappropriate
I don't
in
think
that.
I've seen that.
except the grandfather sleeps around. But no, you're right. That's probably
Whatever. And what about the one that's before that one? Modern Families. That's.
I like Modern Family.
I mean, that's not. I mean, it's got some. It tries to bring in, some modern society stuff, right?
It
was-
does.
Well, you got the homosexual son.
Yeah.
right.
You got the father that's remarried to the hot Latino and then has
Yes.
a child that's younger than.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
I guess
he's an uncle to
the
his 45-year-old daughter. I think that's a fantastic show. I watch that a lot.
is it still on the
that's-
air?
it's-
No,
It's been canceled, hasn't it?
I think it has been canceled. And so it's the Dumfries, Phil Dunphy.
Yeah, but
in fact,
Ed O'Neill, a survivor in the biz with
we
Married with
call
Children.
you Phil Dunphy, Paul. In
Great.
case you're wondering, no, it's not a bad thing. He's very comical, but you are Phil Dunphy.
You talking about the guy on the far left?
Yeah,
In the
you,
blue
that-
shirt?
That's you.
They make him out to be such a doofus dumbass,
Yeah,
and that's me, huh?
you are absolutely that guy. And you know
Really?
what? It's not a bad thing.
I don't like the way I just characterized it,
Well,
but
it's,
maybe he's got some other.
You mean the
know,
dumb guy? That's me?
endearing-
Yes.
Maybe
and,
there's
and the two
maybe
gay
there's some
guys
other
on the right.
endearing.
Now, in real life, the guy on the very far right, he's not gay, but he plays the gay person to a T. And then Al Bundy, that's just Al Bundy, and he's fun at whatever he does. It's a great show. I enjoy it.
I've only watched it a couple seasons. Never got into it too much. It's been on for 10 years or something like that. 2009 to 2020, so 11 years. Yeah.
Yeah, that the son, Nolan Gould, plays Luke Dunphy. He's actually a genius. I think he scored like a 155 or something like that.
I don't know. I know the youngest daughter is quite jugacious.
She had a
These
breast
days.
reduction.
Oh, she did.
Yeah,
Which one are you talking about? You talking about Ariel Winder?
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
well,
she did get a
and she
breast
had-
reduction.
She got very
and
buxom.
she had some she had some bullshit she had to deal with. I think there was some sort of her parents
Yep.
or mom or something like that was on the set and
Well, what do you call it when they?
emancipate.
Yes, that's exactly.
Oh,
what
so
she
she's
went
like,
through.
I'm 15 and
Yeah.
I want out of your life.
And frankly, and rightfully so, because the mom was, you know what? Who the hell am I to judge? So maybe her mom was in the right frame. I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't see it. But she got emancipated because she was, it got ugly on the set.
Didn't Macaulay Culkin do that?
I don't know. Macaulay Culkin's another weirdo. I shouldn't say it like that. He had a lot of weird experiences.
He was that weird looking dude. God, with this
Um,
porn stash.
Which guy?
Right there in the middle.
Oh, Reed. That was
Is that
the
like
daughter's
a boyfriend.
Yeah, that's a terrible mustache.
Yeah. Now the Adam Devine right guy, he was
He's
kind
funny.
of funny.
Yeah, he's funny. He's
He's
in.
a stand-up comedian too.
Yep. So
Is he one of the guys from the Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
No,
no,
no.
Oh, he's
well, that's another one of my favorite
Workaholics?
shows.
no, he's in those Pitch Perfect movies.
Yes,
Okay.
that's exactly where he's from.
Yeah.
Yeah, another, I mean, definitely not a Hallmark program, but Always Sunny in Philadelphia is probably one of my top 5 programs. I can watch it at any time, and it's funny. When Danny DeVito was absorbed into the program, the perfect piece of shit father. They're all pieces of shit.
They are.
Conniving, all against each other. What a fantastic crew.
I heard that was a great show. I think I watched one episode and then got distracted. I didn't.
Well,
I didn't give it enough.
The first season is
you gotta muscle through it.
It's kind of
that's,
hard to
that's
watch.
what I was told. You
You
have
got
to
to muscle through
it.
the first season, but once you start getting the humor, and it's just like almost like any show that you're not into, but you got to get into it. Once you do it, it's funny, and it's even more funny to watch some of the blooper reels because you don't know how the hell they do some of these scenes.
And the rumor was these guys put this show together for a competition. They put together like a little pilot
Mhm.
and won the right to
Keep
do
going.
their show.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
cool.
that's what I heard.
I haven't heard that. I think you might be right because they used old fashioned VHS player recorder to do their skits, and I remember watching some back footage on when they were trying to get Sweet D on who they were going to get to perform as her. I think they've had probably 4 different actresses
Right.
before it actually started. Someone picked up the show.
Yeah. But going back to your original point, I mean, I don't think there are a lot of wholesome shows out there
There
nowadays.
really aren't.
I mean, yeah, when the
There
shows we
aren't.
watch, I mean, Netflix and
Yeah,
Amazon.
and Netflix is even more jaded now because they have a quota. We're going to have this fantastic show, but we have to have the gay people. We have to make sure that
there's an
look, I don't have anything
interracial
against-
relationship. They go down the entire checklist, and there's
That's
nothing wrong with that,
No, but
except
it's
that
not
it's not
realistic.
necessary. It's just unnecessary. Did I tell you about? I told you I had that software. It's called First Draft. It's called First Draft.
I was like, oh my God, what software is he talking about?
No.
What
It's
did
called.
you do?
So it's a screenwriting.
Does this have to do with your strap on?
Listen.
Okay.
No, that's a different software. So this one's called First Draft, and it has a checker that tells you a diversity score for your screenplay.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
How the
So
hell
you
can do
click
that?
click on this thing, and it will scan. It'll scan the description of your characters and of your characters in the story, and it'll tell you if you have enough of this or enough of that. I'm not even near that point to even like have something to be evaluated, but that's what it told me it does. And I
So
was
if you
like,
do,
and so I thought to myself, that is why Hollywood. I mean, that's not the. I mean, it's feeding off of what Hollywood's telling it to
it's
do.
very
Right.
cookie cutter
Yeah.
writing.
so when you get to these historical period movies,
There you go.
and then they start forcing,
And they start rewriting the narrative. I mean,
It's already happening.
well, it is.
Well,
And,
it's called Bridgerton.
oh yeah, Bridgerton. Yeah.
Bridgerton. Yeah, I mean, and
I
I
haven't
don't.
watched it. What's up with that?
Well, I don't want to make a big deal out of this, but it's like the queen is black,
All right.
and and that didn't happen in that. I mean, if you want a show to be authentic in terms of especially historical piece,
That's what I mean. Historical pieces.
if you're gonna do a historical piece,
It's because
it's got to be authentic
the
to
Obamas
the time.
the Obamas
And
own a
it's just-
big piece of Netflix now.
Well, I don't have an issue with it, but
Barack has a ball invested.
I don't know. The point I'm trying to make is go ahead and create a world where that is, that's what you're pitching in that world. Don't try to make it an authentic, period piece.
This isn't a,
where
a
it's not realistic.
representation of
yeah,
what really
1700s
happened.
England.
Right.
That didn't happen.
That didn't happen. It just didn't happen. That would be the equivalent of like during that century to go down to some rich, Nigerian kingdom where they have like, tons of gold and stuff, and the dude sitting on the throne is a white guy. I mean, that's not realistic for a tribal kingdom in Africa. I mean, it's not authentic.
No, it's
Anyway,
not.
but
And
whatever.
and they're not really going for authenticity anymore.
No, they're going for diversity.
Yeah, they're trying to.
The power of suggestion.
Well, it is. It's just you keep repeating it over and over and over. It becomes truth.
Right.
So,
Anyway,
It's disgusting. And you know what? We can't do shit about it. So we just got to, actually, we can. And that's why I would encourage you, Jeff, to continue to entertain the idea of running for some sort of seat in the school council to see if you can't. Hey, look, man, you can take small bites out of it, but I think I think with our kids, they need to be taught correctly with correct history. and have that some of the stuff that's being pulled out of the history books. They need to rewrite the books.
What's this?
It's
I
bullshit.
don't know anything about it, but the 1619.
1619.
The Lincoln Project.
Not the Lincoln Project, but I think it's the 1619 project
Why
right
does
there.
that ring a bell?
It's basically you're rewriting history.
It's a different spin on what has been touted as,
Right. It's
of
when
history.
America officially started was when the first slaves came over.
Yeah, it's basically
Oh,
painting.
whatever.
It's painting America as a nation born on the back of slavery.
Right.
Well, I mean that's every nation on the planet, so they can suck it.
Well, they're putting it in schools though,
I know.
and they're teaching it as the history.
I know.
And having it racist math, it's just get the fuck out of
Yeah,
here.
that I don't understand. I don't understand how is math racist. But-
Because 1 + 1 does not equal 2.
right.
It's
Anyway,
racist for
I
that.
don't. I don't know.
I don't understand that
it's
either.
something I don't.
Where
fully
the hell does
understand.
that come from?
Oregon.
Yeah, it does.
Comes from Oregon.
Yeah, it was the Oregon school districts.
All right, so this is a little bit of a subject change, but I want to get back to, and I know we try not to harp on cancel culture, but this Gina Carano,
Oh yeah,
how you say her last name?
Was that from the Star Wars?
Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Mandalorian.
That was a lot of bullshit too, because that's kind of the same thing. The 1619 Lincoln Project is that's one of the things they try covering up too, about what happened to the Jews. What did happen to the Jews? Well, the Germans would, the citizens of Germany would pull them out. They'd beat their ass and they'd hand them over.
Her point was
Yeah.
that they tattled on them.
Yeah,
Anybody who didn't toe the line in terms of what was considered mainstream thought and what was what the political party
Yeah,
was saying was
the
appropriate
narrative
to
of
say.
the people in
Yes,
control.
thank you. The narrative of the time. They were tattled on.
So she just basically laid it out and created an analogy and
Yes.
said, "Hey, look, what's the
didn't.
difference
All
between?"
she did was retweet it. She didn't write that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She just retweeted it. She didn't
Are you
write
serious?
Yeah, she just retweeted it.
it. You know,
Oh, that's ridiculous. And it
It's-
wasn't even. And it was a fair analogy, in my opinion.
it was.
And they proved her point.
Did you hear about this?
Yeah, and I heard that there was somebody else that may be associated with the Disney Channel had put something out that, in essence, was
The exact.
it showed like them. It showed like babies
Yes.
going through a
was-
wood chipper that were wearing MAGA hats,
Really?
and
that was the
that particular
Mandalorian
guy.
himself.
Nobody did anything to him.
Right.
It was the guy who plays the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't fit the narrative.
And it was more than that. I mean, there was one that was even a Nazi reference. They had
Correct.
Nazi guys, Nazi
I haven't heard that. That's
prisoners
disturbing.
behind bars, and then they showed the kids in cages on the border.
Correct. Yep, that was the Mandalorian himself did that.
Yeah.
And he's still going.
I
They could
really,
replace him. He wears a freaking mask.
You talking about
if
Pedro Pascal?
this
Correct.
Is he the
cancel-
Mandalorian?
Yes.
He
if
was
this cancel culture starts breaking into the Star Wars program, that's where I'm gonna have to put my foot down.
Oh yeah, you're a huge Star Wars.
Most
fan.
most people are. I mean, most guys like us, most dudes like us. .us are.
.us. Anyway, I don't know. This cancel culture thing is very dangerous.
It's a slippery slope because
Yeah.
once they cancel everyone that
Well,
they
who
disagree
knows?
with, then they start coming. They start eating their own.
This broadcast right here could get us all fired.
Yeah, great.
know, I
Thanks,
mean,
Sean.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bullshit. I mean, that's
I
just
know.
like, why can't people just go out, have a good time, do their talking, and and not have any consequences for it? It's just fun.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the out in San Francisco school board? I think it was. I don't know if it was a school board or a family group that represents the families, kind of like a PTA or something like that.
Right.
There's a board, and
Excuse me.
he's a gay guy, married, and he has adopted some interracial kids.
I heard about this. Yeah, go ahead.
So he's gay, he's married, he has I don't know if they're black or Mexican or what, but they're interracial kids. And he went up there to he got elected or suggested to be on this board,
Nominated. Yeah.
nominated, and they said you can't because you're a white male.
So even though he fit the bill in terms of supporting every diversity quota and mantra.
Yeah.
They said, "You're a white guy. We can't have you."
And he was a lib, and it's happening to him.
There you
That's what I
go.
mean. You
No,
know.
no, there is no. That was the point everybody's trying to make. It's like they're gonna come for you.
Yep.
Sooner or later, they're gonna come for you. You might think it's fine right now because they support what you support, but at some point, cancel culture is coming for everyone.
Yes.
That's too bad.
It is too bad.
Yep.
It's sick. And then Hasbro pulls the
Toy.
the
I guarantee that
toys.
was directed by Disney, saying you need to pull all
You
this.
talking about her toy?
Yeah.
Yes, her toy.
Yeah. Well, that thing shot up in price, man. I saw the stock on that. That's like
You saw-
$1,000 for that.
You saw the stock.
Dude, no,
what does
there was
that mean?
Well,
The
her
cost
little
of it.
her little figure.
Well, I
you had
know,
it-
but you have like a website that you go to.
I don't know. It populated on one of the.
You have a doll ticker.
It's a New York Stock Exchange.
Well, the
The
doll-
Gina Carano
Yeah.
doll.
the doll exchange.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that same
So
thing
that
when
was the
you said that.
GameStop. She was the GameStop of the stock market.
Yeah, there you go. That's for some reason that populated on my screen. I don't know what the deal is.
I
None of
think
those-
I think she's
$1,000.
really hot.
no, those prices can't be real because those prices went way up.
Kind of like GameStop.
Yeah.
There you go. That's kind of the
And then
200 area.
As soon as I bought it, it plummeted.
So let me buy it for $234 when there's one next to it for $34.
So if you want that to go
Ron,
down,
were you involved in any of that? Did you jump on board on any of that stuff?
No, that's I really use. I remember Star Wars: Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi.
I was
I'm out
where-
at that point.
I was
Really? You
referring
didn't-
to the stocks with GameStop.
No, but I heard a lot because the youngest in the house was really into that, and he was keeping us up on all that, and
did he do the Robin Hood thing?
yeah, he's bought and played a few $1,000s here and there, and uses Robinhood. Yeah, that was kind of crazy. It just shows that even the
You
group,
talking about T?
yeah, the groups that are supposed to be representing the little guy building get in there and investing, that they're owned.
Yeah, Jeff's
Totally.
Jeff's son did the same thing. He went-
Yeah, we talked about it last
he
podcast.
made like $1,400.
Yeah, he made some money off of it. He got in and out at the perfect time.
Whatever happened to the guy that kind of led that Reddit group and supposedly had taken his $50,000 and made it into millions and was continuing to hang on? I don't know.
They
Well,
probably,
he lost his ass then.
they probably took
because
him
he-
out in the field and shot him.
But
Well,
it
right
could-
now there's maybe the same guy.
It's what had grown to like 40 million, from what I heard, and was still hanging in there,
Yeah,
trying to beat up the hedge funds.
and good, and
So-
rightfully so.
But I thought at least sell half.
So-
Get your 20 and stick it in the bank, and then
Yeah.
then
Well,
make
if
your
he's
point.
got the money, do it. You know.
So, Mr. Producer, look up Reddit and put in commission or hearing.
So I
Because
think the biggest-
some Reddit guy is going in front of Congress or Senate.
yeah. Well, because here's the thing. The one of the biggest takeaways I get from this is the fact that whoever the hedge fund fucks are that controls Robinhood and said, "Hey, man, stop selling,"
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and it said
They
y-
put a freeze on.
Who the fuck
on
are they to
GameStop.
say stop selling?
Unbelievable. I'm just
So
stunned by
is that
that.
what you're referring to? The
Yes. Stop selling to them, but let me keep.
Yeah,
doing it.
That's
They
bullshit.
That's
they
what it
wouldn't allow
was.
you to continue to purchase, but you could sell, or vice versa, and they basically made it where they couldn't continue to make the damage
Yeah, certain
greater.
platforms though, right?
yeah, well, some platforms you could, but you couldn't do it through Robinhood.
Or
Right.
or I think TD Ameritrade stopped as
That
well.
is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, what's their stock at today? I haven't looked in
Oh my
quite a
god,
while.
it's probably
50.
no.
it's like
No,
46.
no, it's like $2.
No, it isn't.
It's got to go back down to 3.
It's 46. I own it. So it's 46.
You bought it when it was 300.
I bought it when it was like 1,000.
46. There you
There
go.
you go. It's 46.
I don't
Yeah.
know why I look. Every day I look and I'm like grimacing.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm up
That
to a
was
nickel.
an interesting thing. I'll be curious to see if anything comes of it, but I'll be surprised if it does. It's just like all these political people who get in trouble that you think they're going to go to jail. They're going to like Comey and
But they don't.
Hillary Clinton
don't.
and this and that. You're like, and nothing ever
Oh,
happens.
politicians get inside information about stocks like this
All the fucking
the
time.
time.
All
All
the
the
time.
time.
Well, they got busted. There was, 6 senators who got busted, a couple of Republicans and a couple of Democrats got
Pelosi's
busted.
Husband,
Such crap, man.
Diane Feinstein.
The whole thing is rigged. whole thing
But
is
I never heard any
rigged.
more about it.
Yeah.
Of course not.
No,
you never
don't.
do.
No.
Or swap.
I was referring to the Dominion stock.
No, I don't know about it.
Yeah, it was Dianne Feinstein has stock in it. Pelosi's husband has it.
In Dominion,
The
the
Dominion
voting
software.
systems.
Yep.
Oh God, that's sickening.
Isn't it?
Yeah, sure is. Anyway,
Well, that Gina Carano is supposedly making a movie now with Ben Shapiro.
yeah. Okay, yeah. So a
I wouldn't think Ben
conservative.
Shapiro
That's right.
being an actor.
A conservative production group
You
picked
know who
her up.
Ben is, right?
Yeah, and he goes. He's moving or has moved to Tennessee. He's left. He's one of the groups that have left L.A.
Good.
Love it.
You know, Rogan moved to Austin, and Shapiro has packed up and moved to Nashville.
Love it.
Yeah. So this movie, I don't know what it's about, but it's. Who'd you say is funding it? Some conservative
A
group?
conservative production company. Yeah. I mean, it's Ben Shapiro's production company,
Oh,
I
that's
can't
true.
wait for.
so he may not be an actor in the movie. He might just be
The producer
producing
of
it.
some sort. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm sure it's
Ben
probably going to
Shapiro's
be.
a smart guy.
It's probably going to be online only because it'll be blackballed in any theater.
Yeah. How are they going to do that?
It'll be online. It'll stream it only.
Yeah, but through a provider because it's all
Well,
Democrat owned.
We'll
They're
do
all-
it. Well, they're starting to come. Parlor, I hear, is starting to come back online.
Well, for what servers?
They've built their own farm.
Oh, they need to. Well, like I was sharing a long time ago, they need to get
Yeah,
the farm growth going.
they could do it on the Daily Wire.
And if I were Trump, I would spend billions doing it.
Right.
Billions doing it. And I would start coming up with our own shit. And they want war of intellectual property. Let's give them a war of intellectual property because it's all about what's right, what's wrong. And this is a farce what the left is pulling.
Yep.
Even the January 6th bullshit is a farce. And there's still no one's dragging in a Pelosi. She's the mayor of the fucking Capitol, isn't she? She's the one that's in charge of what happens there. She's the one that should be held accountable. Her herself are the ones. She's pulled back the security.
Yeah.
It was her order.
I saw an interview with
It's very frustrating.
Trump's lawyer. Did you see that interview with Trump's lawyer? Where basically he was just,
Giuliani.
no, it was no.
Oh,
during
you're talking about the impeachment
lawyer.
impeachment manager. Yeah.
Van Meter or whatever his name was.
Yes.
He was being interviewed by someone on CBS, some lady, and he gave it to her, basically saying this is all the media's fault. You know, doing the forcing this narrative, and you know the doctored evidence
Mhm.
that he called out. He goes, "You don't cover that, and you're calling." And basically, he brought that up, that the doctored evidence, and she goes, "Oh, you mean just the fake blue check mark and the changing of the year and this and that?" And he called her out, and he goes, "Isn't that enough?
Right.
They're faking evidence.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
What does it take? You need to be a journalist. There is no journalistic integrity anymore."
Oh, there's so much, man. McDonald and his bullshit statement.
McDonald,
McDonald Senate saying.
McConnell.
Mitch McConnell,
Mitch McConnell.
he doubled down.
Yeah.
He may be out. There's 6 or 7 that
I
I,
hope
think
so.
That's his epitaph.
it'll be interesting to see if they can survive this. I think Mitt Romney is right there at
Yeah,
the
Mitt
top.
Romney
He's
needs
been
to
on
go.
the
All
on
those
the
rhinos
target
need
for
to
the
go.
past 4 years, but I think he's definitely
They call him the turtle.
And the thing is, we don't know what's going to ever the pictures of Mitch McConnell. He's a character. And you know what, Pelosi too. Whatever happened to? I mean, Ted Cruz put up on the docket that we were the term life. Whatever happened that? Remember, it was like 3 Mondays ago.
Oh, term limits.
Term limits for. I mean, how come we haven't heard anything about that?
Well, I mean,
They just shot it down.
It's not going to go anywhere.
no. That's a bigger deal than that's a constitutional amendment.
So, what is the process to be able to change that?
To add a constitutional amendment,
Well, yeah,
it's a big deal. It takes ratification of the states, which is
Right.
but it was but they created it.
What?
So for the term limits, You
Right.
know, I'm not talking about for the presidency. They did it for the presidency because
They did.
FDR was in there for four
That's right. So
periods in a
somebody
row.
has to somebody has to submit an amendment to the Constitution, and it follows a process.
And see, that's what Ted Cruz did. That's what I'm saying. How come if he put something in, you know, how do you follow the progress of that?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know what that process is from a.
Because it was 3 Mondays ago where he put that thing out. Maybe,
So-
maybe even 4.
So 2/3 of both houses have to agree to do it.
And then it goes to the states to be ratified.
you know, it's
So they may not even take it up. I mean, I think the way it works is it goes into some committee where they're going to propose an amendment, and then the committee like goes, "Hey, yeah, no, I don't think so," and then it dies.
well,
It doesn't even get to the main floor of the House or the Senate, and it just dies
Just dies.
like a lot of other good Republican legislation.
No, I don't know what else is going to come out of this. This whole I brought up January 6th. I talked about the lack of communication with the Capitol security, and just I didn't really hear a whole lot about the killing. I heard the female ex-Navy person got killed,
That's the only one.
and but did a police officer
police
get killed?
officer
Some male
died.
officer.
No, even that is being disputed.
Well,
So-
he supposedly died several days later. didn't
Right.
he?
Of
There-
what?
They were
a
saying
stroke.
COVID?
Well, they were saying at first that he was hit with a fire extinguisher, but there's absolutely no evidence there's no video evidence that happened, and they're being very, very quiet about exactly how he passed. So they're thinking it was a heart attack
I just don't. I
or
don't
stroke.
get.
No, they said
Yeah,
stroke.
I heard stroke.
Yeah,
I don't.
stroke.
I don't get how they cannot hold them accountable.
Right.
It's just.
Oh,
They
stuff!
won't.
It's amazing.
They
Stuff
won't.
just doesn't get reported, and it just kind of goes away very
Again,
quietly.
The media
It's amazing.
plays a huge part in that.
And they always say 5 people died. 5 people died. There was a person who wasn't even near the Capitol. They were like, there's 200,000 people out there. One of them died of a heart attack. One of them died of this. One of them died of that. I mean, it had nothing to do with what was going on, right? The only two that were actually related to the quote riot was getting hit with an extinguisher, which isn't proven, and the woman who was shot needlessly by the Capitol Police.
Yeah, that was pretty raunchy.
Yeah, it was.
It didn't seem warranted either.
No, it wasn't.
But
And-
they were scaling the side of the God blessing Capitol. I didn't get that. And and then the people that were scaling, the people that were trying to break open the windows were allegedly part of Antifa.
Yeah,
And
there.
where is that data? Well,
There
because
was definitely some elements of Antifa
they
in
they
there.
they interviewed people that said, "Yeah, I was there. I was wearing the baseball cap." They have photos of me breaking the window,
Right.
and I'm part of Antifa.
Right.
So I'm just like, it's
gets-
frustrating.
It gets
no
buried.
no one's ever gonna, it just.
So there was one guy. I read one guy. So one Antifa member went in there, right, and they arrested him like they did the rest of the other people. And he said he was there just to film. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just here to film. Well, I mean, they still charged him with stuff, but they also said that he would be allowed to keep the money he got for his video, $35,000 a pop from every major news organization. That's what he was paid for his footage.
Wow.
$35,000 for from every single one of them.
And whatever happened to the horn boy with the pelt all over skirt and bullshit?
Oh, he was expecting Trump. He was expecting Trump to pardon him.
Well, wasn't he
And
a
he
part
didn't.
of a Antifa riot weeks earlier? Where they had
No,
him
no, 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 no.
photographed?
He was a counter protester at an Antifa.
So he was an authentic Trump supporter.
he was. He was, and he was also the QAnon guy. Anyway, so when he did not get pardoned, he was, felt duped by Trump, and so to try to get out of his, all these charges they were throwing at him, he said he would go ahead and be a witness at the impeachment trial to show that they were right. Trump took over my mind, and
Look at that
Trump was
guy.
the one that made me do this. Well, and his whole thing was to just get out of the charges,
He's
and because he was angry that Trump didn't pardon him.
what a freaking.
Oh, he's a freak, man.
The thing. it's never going to come out, and it's so frustrating. And when the police officer, the Capitol Police, ushering them in. Come on in. Hey, there's putting aside the barricades.
There's
Come
a
on
lot
in.
of there's a lot of shit.
You know,
in
it's
it.
just like, come on, man. You can't have it both ways. You can't say this was an incitement and then having the Capitol Police, basically they're the ones inciting it because they're the catalyst getting people to come in.
Yeah. What kills
Stand
me?
down,
What
stand
kills me
down.
about the whole thing? Remember, there was a guy that was putting pipe bombs, was planting pipe bombs, both at the Capitol and at the Republican National Committee headquarters or something, and then even the Democratic National. And I've heard nothing. I mean, that would be a massive manhunt to find this guy, and to and it would be like national news all the time.
Well, it's probably not. They probably know who it is, and it doesn't fit the narrative what they're trying to say.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it.
It's probably an Antifa guy that if they found him and interviewed, it would be.
It'd be that chick from Minnesota,
Omar.
Omar. What's her
Yeah.
fucking name?
Omar?
The Nigerian.
Ilhan Omar? No, she's from.
She's representative from Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yes.
Elon Omar.
She's a mess.
She just got.
She's a piece of shit.
Did she get
too.
put on a committee that they're?
Yeah, she's
Oh,
heading.
yeah.
She's heading the committee.
Some very powerful committee.
No,
Yeah.
it's not really.
That's not what I heard. They said it was totally inappropriate for her to be on
Oh,
to
really?
have that influence.
Really?
Now, it may not have been, maybe it wasn't a powerful committee, but her being assigned to whatever position she was highly inappropriate.
Yeah.
Meaning, did not fit the mold of whatever it was. Now,
So
it might have been
FBI
how to host parties or something.
Well, the producer had it up there. It showed it with the pipe bomb.
Yeah, crazy. I mean,
All right. Well,
I haven't heard anything about it.
we're gonna take a break, and we'll be back and talk more about dudeslikeus.us. Be right back.